Dear students, welcome again. We were discussing the part 8, that is the leadership, and so far in this part 8 we have thoroughly discussed about the meaning, the concept, the characteristics, nature, importance of the leadership. We have tried to understand the point of differences between leadership and management, leader and a manager, and formal and informal leadership style. Additionally, we have tried to investigate what are the different style of the leadership. We have so far learned about 3 major leadership styles. One is your autocratic leadership style, democratic leadership style, and free rein leadership style, that is also termed as laissez-faire. But what we have learned so far with the leadership style is that a leader who centralizes all the authority to themselves, who does not believe or trust their subordinates for any kind of decision making, these category of the leader are generally what we have called it a autocratic leader. Democratic leader is someone who believes in their employee or the subordinates and they participate in the decision making. It is also termed as the participative decision making style or the leadership style. And last one we have understand about the free rein leadership style. What does it mean? It means that the superior is just like a platform for providing the resources to the subordinates, and subordinate themselves they are performing all their activities, and there is a very less intervention of the superior. So far we have understanding about the different leadership style. We have a clear knowledge about who are a manager and who are the leaders. Manager is a formal position, we have learned in the previous session, whereas a leader is a informal position which arises out of the your group. The accountability is with respect towards the manager, whereas the accountability does not restrict or does not comply for a leader. Okay. Leader is more powerful, however, a manager has limited authority. A leader can be from the supervisory level. A manager always need to or expect to perform as a leader, whereas it is not necessary a leader should be always a manager. So, we have discussed all these things. I need to just brush up the things that we have learned so far, because these things will be applicable to the module 40, that is which we are going to study. Okay. So, as you can see in the slide, the module 40 overview will be discussing about leadership theories. Okay. So far we have discussed some of the theories as well. Okay. In the leadership we have leadership styles. Okay. Likert leadership system we have discussed it, the 4 leadership systems. Okay. So, in the continuation of the last module, we will be trying to understand what are the different leadership theories. Okay. Now, as you can see, House path goal theory is one of the theory that we will be studying, your transactional leadership and your transformational leadership. Okay. Along with that, we have in the earlier session, we have discussed about the managerial grid. We have discussed about the situational theory of the Fred Fiedler. So, very first theory that we are going to study is Robert J. House and Martin Evans developed another situational theory which is based on the extension of Fiedler's situational theory. So, what is the new thing that Fiedler has identified or Fiedler has like propounded the theory, okay, situational theory? What are the new thing that House has attributed or contributed towards the path goal theory? What was the limitation of your situational theory? That there was no path or like a roadmap for how the manager could become an effective leader. Okay, but House advanced the situational theory with respect to like providing vision to the manager on how they can become effective leader based on certain situations, because it is totally dependent on the situation theory of the leadership. So, moving beyond, as you can see, the theory suggests that the degree to which leadership behavior matches situational factors will determine the motivation, satisfaction and performances of the subordinates. So, how a leader is matching or adapting with respect to the changed situation will determine some key element factor. What are those factors? The motivation, satisfaction and performances of the subordinates. All right. This theory is also called as the path goal theory, because outcome of this theory is like a roadmap on how a manager will become an effective leader. All right. So, as it focuses on how leadership provides subordinate with the path to achieve the goal. Okay. So, leadership styles according to this theory, or we can say House and their team, they like segmented overall leadership style. What is the leadership style? Leadership style is a behavior of a leader on how they are like having their interpersonal relationship with their subordinates. The autocratic leadership style, democratic leadership style, laissez-faire leadership style, all signifies that how you are behaving with your subordinates. Okay. Along with that, the 4 leadership patterns or the leadership style has been propounded by House. Okay. Very first one is directive leadership, supportive leadership, participative leadership and achievement oriented leadership. Okay. So, these are the 4 different styles of the leadership and we will be discussing about it. And another is the situational factors. So, what are the situational factors upon which the leader is expected to behave differently, or what leadership style will be more applicable based on the different situation? So, 2 different situation or the 2 different dimensions has been explained. Okay. One is the characteristics of the subordinates and characteristics of the work environment. So, this is A, this is B. Now, characteristics of the subordinates, like how the subordinates are behaving, what is the state of the subordinate in terms of like their knowledge, their efficiency, their performances, their experience, their willingness to participate, their willingness to be influenced. There are so many factors. Okay. So, this is the one factor of the situation or the environment, we can call it, is the subordinates characteristics. Second is the work environment, that is the task, okay, task oriented. So, how the overall task is divided or the nature of the characteristics of the work. Okay. Now, before that we need to understand what are the different leadership style according to the goal theory, path goal theory. Very first one is the directive leadership. As the name suggests, directive, it means some kind of direction is being given towards the subordinates with respect to the performance of their activities. It means the superior or the bosses will be guiding and they will be like sharing limited authority for any kind of completion of the activity. They will be influencing by the controlling approaches. Okay. It may be that the subordinate may be given some kind of reward, some kind of punishment if the achievements based on the achievements of them. Okay. So, a directive leadership can be of autocratic leadership styles as well, because all the authority being reserved at one place. All right. So, this is the nature of the directive leadership. Now, talking about the second point, supportive leadership. Supportive leadership, as the name suggests, it means you are very much supportive with your subordinates. Remember, in the managerial grid we have seen the two dimension was there: support for the employee, concern for the employee, and concern for the organizations. Okay. So, the more and more the manager is concerned for the employees, what we have seen. All right. At the very first stage, okay, we have seen that some of the manager will be more concerned towards the employee rather than the concern for the organizations. Okay. So, this shows the supportive leadership. It means that the superior and the subordinate are sharing harmonious relationship among them. The superior is more concerned towards the development of their employees or the subordinates. They are like making sure that there should not be any kind of conflict or any kind of confrontation between them. It may be of like a positive side as well and the negative side as well. If you are not like making any kind of confrontation with your subordinates, it means that you are allowing some kind of faulty practices of their subordinates as well. So, it depends, like if all the situation is going favorable, then it is okay, but if you are ignoring some of the unfavorable situation just to avoid the conflict, then it is not good for the organization. All right. So, this was the supportive leadership style. Participative leadership style, we can like relate it with the democratic leadership style. Democratic or the participative leadership style is the same thing, where you allow your subordinates to discuss the activities of the organizations. Okay. So, it is the democratic leadership style. Achievement oriented leadership style, it means that the employees or the subordinates themselves, they are very much talented and very much superior, and little controlling or any kind of directing effort is required on the part of the superior, because more of the activities are done individually or in the group by the subordinates. Okay. So, these are the 4 leadership style according to House and Evans. Now, try to understand about the 2 different situations. One is the subordinate characteristic and another is your environmental characteristics. Within the subordinate characteristics, you will see that the very first one is the self perceived task ability. Okay. It means how efficient the employees are themselves in performing the different activities. If there could be 2 situations, that they are not self sufficient to perform all that or the task or the different activities within the organization, or they will be very much like easy to perform in the group by themselves without consultation of the superiors. So, what if they are self sufficient? Then what leadership style will be more applicable? As you can see, participative leadership will be or participative or achievement oriented. Why? Because ultimately leaders roles come into play when there is some kind of guidance is required. If the employees or the subordinate themselves are capable to solve some of the routine activity, then there is no need to indulge in those activities as a part of the supervisor, because you are a supervisor, you have other works as well. Okay. So, in that situation, participative or achievement oriented style will be more applicable, but as against where the employees are not self sufficient, then directive leadership will be more applicable. As you can see, first one will be more applicable. Now, second is locus of control. Locus of control talks about the internal as well as the external locus of control. It means if the employees or the subordinate are like have a very strong mental state, okay, and they are capable of performing any activity, in that situation the participative leadership style will be more applicable. Whereas external system or the external locus of control, they lack some kind of confidence, and their internal state of mind or internal ability or self confidence is very low. In that situation, directive leadership is more applicable. It is simple. Third one is willingness to accept influence. If suppose your subordinates are willing to be influenced, okay, it means like the subordinate is accepting the fact that the superior has a wide knowledge and experiences and will be learning so many things from them, then you need to have a directive leadership style, because you will be more engaged with your subordinates. So, directive will be more applicable. Whereas, if they are not willing, they are not willing to be influenced. It means their initial temperament is not to learn the new thing from the like high skilled or the different expertise of the superior. Then you can go for the participative. So, these are the some points with respect to the characteristics of the subordinates. On the other hand, characteristics of the work environment, it means the nature of the task. The different tasks are to be performed by the like superior and subordinate together. Okay. So, what type of task is, what is the status of the task? It could be your structured task and unstructured task. Structured task means you have done your organizing activities or the organizing as a function very efficiently. It means all the work are divided, all the work has been assigned, the divided work has been assigned to the different subordinates or the employees, and everyone has the knowledge what task to perform, when the task is to perform, how the task is to be performed. So, there is a complete clarity about the work to be done. In that situation, your participative or your achievement oriented style will be more applicable because of the clarity of the work. If it is highly unstructured, it means you do not have any clarity, overlapping of activities are there, alright. So, in that situation, it will be creating a cluttered within the employee, that who will be assigning or who has been given the responsibility about any kind of task within the organization. In that situation, it will be more directive, alright. So, based on the nature of the task, the activities are or leadership style will be used. Second is the work group. Work group, if suppose you are a subordinate and you have been very well accepted by the group or the superior. Okay, suppose you are a new employee. Okay, within the new employee, suppose you are a new employee and a group of 15 employee are working. You as a new employee joined an organization. Okay. So, you have been put in this particular group. Now, along with you there is 15 employees or the subordinates which are working together. So, when the group is very well accepting you in terms of like your working in culture based on your expertise, based on your likes and dislikes, beliefs, value system, attitude, so many behavioral aspects, Then if they are accepting in a shorter period of time, then there will be participative leadership style. Why? Because you will be learning from your peer group, as compared if they are not accepting you or it is taking too much of time. Then the leader need to take so much of time to train you with respect to any kind of changes in the organization or any kind of activity. Okay. So, they will require more time, and in this will lead towards the directive leadership style. Next is formal authority, rules, regulation, policies. Okay. Suppose within the organization, we are talking about the work environment. The employee, suppose you are as an employee, you have joined here, you as a new employee. At the initial stage, it may be that you do not have the like every organization has their own environment, own working culture. Okay, it totally depend on the organization to organization. Okay, so you are taking too much of time to understand the rules, regulation, policies, and it is not clear. Okay, in that situation, it will be more directive leadership style. But if all the cultures, environment, you have a clear understanding of those things, then it will be more participative. So, I hope these things are very much clear. Like in this particular model theory, we have tried to understand the extension of the situational theory, which is the path goal theory, and we learned about the 4 leadership style: directive, supportive, participative, and achievement oriented. And we try to also discuss about the 2 situations. One situation is with respect to the subordinates and with respect to the work environment. And within that, we have learned about the sub characteristics of the subordinates, that is self perceived risk, locus of control, willingness to accept influence, and what type of leadership will be more applicable. We have tried to understand with some examples as well. Second part is the work environment. Within the work environment, the nature of the task, whether the task is structured, unstructured, okay, work group, and the formal system. Okay. So, I hope it is clear that when you will be joining as a manager in some of the organization, what situation is there, how you have got an understanding about the subordinates, okay, how you have got an understanding about the overall work environment, and based on the sub factor, you will be able to take your leadership styles and you will be able to use it. Okay. So, as a manager, you have to perform all the leadership style. It is not like you do not need to mold your leadership style. Based on the situation, you have to do it. Now, the outcome part, let us try to briefly discuss this thing. As you can see, the function of a leader is to influence the behavior of their subordinates. This is the basic definition that we have learned about the leadership, how you are influencing the behavior. Okay. Now, with that, 2 situational factor is there. One is your characteristics of the subordinates and the characteristics of the work environment. Okay. Now, the leadership behavior is with respect to the styles. Okay. The 4 leadership style: transactionals, okay, not transactional, but your directive, supportive, participative, and achievement oriented. So, leadership behavior is with respect to the leadership style that you will be exhibiting. That will ultimately influence the leader, your subordinates. They will be either motivated or they will not be motivated. If they are motivated, then ultimately they will be performing well, and it will be better for the effective or the efficiency of the organization. Okay. So, the contribution of this theory is with respect to the roadmap or the path through which the organizational goal can be achieved. So, this was the overall things about this theory, path goal theory. Moving towards the second part of this module is the transactional and transformational leadership. Now, transactional and transformational leadership is just the opposite of how you are playing the role as a manager and playing the role as a true leader. Okay. So, transactional leadership will be more applicable where the subordinates has very formal relationship with their superior. Okay. And superior is like just playing the part of the bosses, and once the task is over or the project is completed, there will be like little connection between the subordinate and the superior. So, it is very much transactional basis. Okay, transactional basis means your project basis, and out of the structure of the organization, you are just meeting formally for completion of any activities. All right. So, let us try to discuss what are the main concept about the transactional leadership. Set goals for the organization. Okay. Very first one is like the transactional leaders or formal leaders, they are expected to set out the objective for the different groups. Okay. Suppose you are a leader or a manager. Okay. Within you, 3 employees are working, or they are the subordinates. Within that, the different assignment you have been given to them. So, all these relationship will be very formal. Okay. So, very first one is setting goals for the subordinates, that you as a leader, you have set the goals for the different subordinates, that you will be performing activity 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, every employee subordinates have the clarity about what the activity they need to perform. So, this is the very first one. Second is motivate them to achieve these goals. So, as a leader, one very basic element is that how you are influencing the behavior of the subordinates. So, motivation is with respect towards the positive motivation, and it could be the negative motivation. Positive motivation means providing some kind of rewards, and negative motivation means some kind of penal action. Okay, reward or penalty. This could be the motivation. Third one, set standards. It means like activity 1 to 9 will be having some kind of quality standards that you need to maintain. If you are not able to maintain that standard, then you need to revise your work and some kind of penal action will be taken. Some kind of, suppose wage cut is one of the penal action. But if you are beyond your expectation or the standards, then some kind of reward, some kind of foreign trip for example is given. Okay. Offer rewards to the subordinate, this is the same thing. So, this is the basic definition or the concept about the transactional leadership. Now, as opposite, the transformational leadership. Transactional means for a particular transactions or particular period or for a particular project. Transformational means that you are transforming the life of your subordinates. Okay. So, it is transforming subordinates. Transforming to whom or to what? Transforming to become a true leader themselves, like you are nurturing the future leader. So, as you can see, a transformational leader provide individualized consideration, intellectual simulation and possesses charisma, also known as charismatic leadership. So, there is a big difference between the two leadership style. The transformational leader is way ahead of the transactional leader, because they are more oriented towards how to make a holistic development of the different subordinates, rather than a short approach. Like short approach could be you are using the reward or the penal action for completing the deadline work. They will be able to do that. don't worry, but at the same time how much efficiency has been increased while they are working under you, that shows the charismatic leadership style. Okay. So, in terms of the characteristics of the followers under the transactional leaders, they will be for a shorter period of time. Once the project is completed, that is done, there is no contact. But in terms of your transformational leadership, it will be like could be like lifelong relationship with your superior or your leader. Okay. So, we can discuss some of the features, create vision and build commitment to that vision. So, transformation leader, they will be creating a lifetime objective or the vision for the organization as well as for the subordinates. It may be that the subordinate will be throughout the life they are like contacting or they are in the contact about any kind of personal as well as the professional problems that they are facing. Okay. Second is facilitating organizational change that supports the vision. Within the organization, the transformation leader, they will be looking for some kind of like innovative ideas or some kind of out of the box thinking that will help the organization as well as the subordinates for the complete change in the approach. Okay, like we can take one example, like there will be someone who thought about like replacing the petrol and diesel cars, and we can use the electric cars or hybrid cars. Okay. So, transformation leader will make some big challenges or some kind of big decisions that will transform the organization and the life of the subordinates as well. And last one is with respect to raise awareness of the organizational issues among the followers. Okay. So, with this we try to understand the point of differences between the transactional and the transformational leadership. We have already discussed these points, like the transformation leader will be acting as a ideal person for the different followers. Inspiration and motivation, they will be inspiring more as compared to the transactional leaders. Intellectual simulation, like they will be more oriented, the transformation leader more oriented towards like creating something new. Okay. And individualized consideration, it means the individual approach will also be there. And with this we finally can make a distinction between the transactional and transformation leader based on the exchange of relationship between the leader and the follower. So, it will be highly formal relationship, whereas based on the followers need and the value system, it will like transformational leadership will be looking into the your skill part, your beliefs, the value system, and work on that so that you can become more efficient person. Reward and recognition are the true reward or the inspiration method, whereas vision for the energy or some kind of like future thing that you can become will be the reward or the inspiration for the transformation leaders. It is passive approach, it has active approach. It is more towards the task oriented, like within the organization you have to complete so and task, but goal oriented is something that how you will be becoming this person from this to this. Okay. So, it is more has a wider approach, and outcome is low to moderate because you restrict yourself to this particular box only. Very high because you jump from one place to another and you have a vision about how the things can be conducted. So, with this we have thoroughly discussed about some good or important theories of the leadership, and we have seen about the houses, path goal theory, transactional and transformational leadership, and that ends the part 8. In the upcoming part, we will be trying to understand about the concept about the communication, how the communication is very much essence for the organization, because all the information will pass from the different levels. Okay. So, that is all for the session, and these are some of the suggested books that you can go through it, that will give you more insight. Thank you.